This is ABC7 News at 5:30. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. From Delaware to Florida, the Trump administration is looking to use seismic air guns to look for oil and gas underneath the floor of the Atlantic Ocean.
Environmentalists, though, are concerned these guns create one of the loudest man-made sounds in the ocean, which can disturb and possibly even harm some endangered marine life. ABC7's Jess Dowdrick joins us in the studio with more on this story. Jess.
Good evening, Haley and Scott. Is the risk worth the reward? That's what local lawmakers and environmentalists are asking. And it's not just about the seismic testing, as that would just be the first step in paving the way for offshore drilling.
President Donald Trump is looking to unleash the nation's energy reserves that he says can be found off the East Coast under the Atlantic Ocean.
Our country is blessed with incredible natural resources, including abundant offshore oil and natural gas reserves. But the federal government has kept 94% of these offshore areas closed for exploration and production.
Trump promises that the exploration will clear the way for thousands of high-paying American jobs. Meanwhile, America would be less dependent on other countries for foreign oil.
The more reserves that we find for ourselves, we can control, where we don't have to rely on such volatile and dangerous places as the Middle East and sometimes South America, the better for us, the better for American citizens.
But here in Florida, where the tourism and fishing industries are strong, there's a lot of concern. Marine life being the most vulnerable to seismic testing. Its powerful sound waves are so strong that some say they could kill an animal if it gets too close.
Picture you're living in a neighborhood and there's a very, very powerful boom box that's going off every 10 seconds all day long, all night long. If you get too close to it, it's possible you can get killed. If you're in the really close vicinity, you can't communicate with your family. It's just very, very disruptive. But for the rest of the neighborhood, you can hear it from miles away.
Risks from seismic testing aside, some say the greater risk comes if oil or natural gas is found under the Atlantic Ocean. That means drilling would begin.
All you have to do is look back at the BP oil spill and the potential for adverse impacts on the environment. And since our economy is completely driven based on a tourism-driven economy, and we have the #1 beach in the world here with Siesta Key, I think we have to do everything we can to protect it.
As it stands, the National Marine Fisheries Service is asking for Marine Mammal Protection Act permits, allowing 5 companies to conduct the seismic surveys with the air guns.
If this seismic testing begins, experts say it would take years to locate the oil. The testing is only expected to happen on the Atlantic coast of Florida, not the Gulf. Haley and Scott.
All right, thank you, Jess. Now to a developing story in Paris, where prosecutors have opened a counterterrorism investigation. An unidentified man attacked police with a hammer outside the Notre Dame Cathedral. The French Interior Minister says the attacker cried, quote, "It's for Syria," as he went after officers patrolling in front of the landmark. Police shot and injured the man. Now, France is still in a state of emergency following the Paris attacks in 2015, in which 130 people were killed. There has been strong police presence on the streets of Paris ever since then.
Now to London, where police are releasing the names of all 3 attackers in Saturday's terror rampage. One of them was previously the subject of a police investigation that was eventually closed. And as ABC's Ariel Reshef tells us, British authorities are now facing a backlash.
This 27-year-old said to be the leader of the trio of terrorists behind Saturday's ruthless rampage. Karam Butt featured in a documentary on Britain's Channel 4 called The Jihadis Next Door.
Because he's white and he's English, he can go, but all of us that were just praying, we have to stay.
He was the center of a probe in 2015, but British authorities concluded he was not a threat.
We always ask ourselves, well, should we have known? Could this have been prevented?
Butt and his accomplices, Rashid Redouan and Youssef Zagba, plotted their attack for months. The final trigger, a message from ISIS inciting violence during the holy month of Ramadan. The 3 carried out their sordid plan on Saturday, mowing down and stabbing 7 people to death, wounding nearly 50.
It's a wave of terror. This spate of attacks really shows what the UK and Europe more broadly are up against, with all of the individuals who are radicalized and prepared to carry out this type of attack, at least inspired by ISIS.
Today, a moment of silence for the victims and heartbreak for their families.
Me as a person, I'm extremely angry. I'm extremely angry, but because I've been with James, I know that I can't let anger win.
Police arrested one person in raids overnight. British authorities now monitoring 23,000 people considered active threats. Ariel Reshef, ABC News, London.
This is a very important day in history. It's the 73rd anniversary of the D-Day invasion. It was on June 6, 1944, that more than 160,000 Allied troops, about half of them Americans, stormed the beaches of Normandy, France, in what's considered the largest amphibious invasion in history. D-Day is considered a turning point in World War II as Allied forces overwhelmed their German counterparts. General Dwight Eisenhower commanded that operation.
Now for a check on our forecast, we've had a very rainy day, and in some cases it's been pretty rough out there. Let's head over to Bob and see if we're
That's right,
more.
rough weather indeed. You know, the system, as you talk about D-Day, was a big factor when it came to weather forecasting. There were conflicting forecasts in terms of delaying that original date as a result of that. But the forecast from the American and United States government came in with a better forecast, and it turned out to be right. It just happened to work out just perfectly there. Heavier showers and storms continue to roll in across the area, bringing some locally heavy rainfall. You can see that light to moderate rainfall continuing now into Manatee County. No lightning here, no intensity in terms of rough weather, but still some pretty heavy rainfall. Live sweep of the radar showing you that rain from Lakewood Ranch up to Palmetto and Parrish, and also out to Anna Maria. Sarasota downtown getting some rain right now, the heaviest into the Lakewood Ranch area. And then down south, more rain starting to develop near Nokomis and Venice. Venice had a wind gust at the airport there just about an hour and a half ago of up to 47 miles an hour, and we've had some rough winds as well into Port Charlotte. A small craft advisory is in effect now for the eastern Gulf of Mexico, and that will stay in effect right through tonight and tomorrow. Much more in our forecast. More rain is in it too. Details and all that coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
Okay, Bob, thank you. All this rain we've been getting over the past few days helping our wildfire situation. Today, Manatee County officials decided to lift the burn ban. It had been in effect for the past 6 weeks, but was lifted today due to all the rainfall. Sarasota County's burn ban, however, is still in effect until further notice.
After years of debate over how to tackle the issue of homelessness, Sarasota City and County Commissioners are moving forward with a housing first approach. The idea is to prioritize getting homeless individuals into housing and then following up with services such as addiction or mental health treatment, finding employment, and eventually transitioning them into permanent housing. This model has shown success in other parts of the country, and it's actually more cost effective than caring for a person who is living on the street.
It's costing the county taxpayers about $10 million a year to keep folks in this revolving door of EMS pickups, emergency hospital room treatments, and recycling through the courts and the jail when the behavior deteriorates to criminal behavior.
Tonight on ABC7 News at 7, we'll show you how Housing First is already changing lives for some recently homeless individuals.
An almost $3 million project to make improvements to a Venice drawbridge will soon get underway. The Florida Department of Transportation says crews will make repairs to the Circus drawbridge on the south side of the island of Venice. They'll paint it, make small repairs, and replace the bridge deck and sidewalk. The project will begin in late June or early July and should be completed by the fall. There will be some lane closures during that work, and you can learn all about it at a public meeting coming up on Tuesday, June 13th. That's a week from today at the Venice Community Center.
Right now, it is illegal for anyone to run or walk across the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. But if one man gets his way, running on the span would be allowed for just one day in 2018. ABC7's Erica Jackson shows us what still needs to be done so that plans for this half marathon move forward.
Palmetto officials say New Year's Day is historically the slowest day for traffic, which is why it would be the best day to host a half marathon on the Sunshine Skyway Bridge.
It's an opportunity to do something I feel is almost once in a lifetime.
Avid runner Adam Johnson is keeping his plans open on the first day of 2018. New Year's Day could mark the first half marathon from St. Petersburg to Blackstone Park in Palmetto, crossing over the Sunshine Skyway Bridge.
It's definitely novel. Usually most runs are on a straight path. Occasionally you'll get a hill here and there.
Johnson and his friends see the bridge's 200-foot incline as a challenge worth accepting.
When you do have some inclines, it's up, it's down, but you have breaks in between. So I think a steady climb forward all the way up is going to be extremely challenging.
But for event organizer Shane Henry, the biggest challenge is closing the southbound lanes of the bridge to cars from 6 to 9 a.m., but says it would only inconvenience about 1,000 drivers during that period.
I really think that it will be a minimal amount of inconvenience to anyone, if anyone at all.
The Florida Department of Transportation would close I-275 southbound from the Pinellas Bayway in St. Pete to US 19 in Palmetto. Suncoast visitor Sumaya Madarani believes closing the busy bridge would be inconvenient for many drivers.
I believe it's not a great idea to close it if it's New Year. That's going to be a lot of delays, frustration.
Henry has been working for the last 4 years to make this happen. He says the effort to help local nonprofits and bring together the community is well worth it.
I truly feel like we can build this into one of those premier type running events, much like we have in Gasparilla, where people travel from all over the world to experience this.
Event organizers need approval from Manatee County before the event can become official. Reporting in St. Petersburg, Erica Jackson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Erica, thank you. A special holiday celebration is planned at Nathan Benderson Park this summer. Sanka, the organization that runs the park, is starting a new tradition with a fireworks show on Saturday, July 1st. People are invited to bring a blanket or chair to Regatta Island at the park to see the display. There will also be games, music, and other activities. The gates will open at 4:30. Admission is free and parking is $5. Another option to see fireworks over the 4th of July
and
weekend.
maybe less traffic, you know, less competition to get a seat, but good idea.
Still to come in your Suncoast News tonight, making sure kids stay safe when they're surfing the web, what Google is doing to make sure young children are internet aware.
Plus an Amazon Prime membership for half the price. Who's eligible for this deep discount? Straight ahead.
There's never been a better time to call California Closets. Now during our Finish Upgrade event, save up to 20% when you upgrade to an Italian-inspired wood grain finish. Contact us for your free design consultation today. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
With a top prize of $10 million, the new $10 million world-class cash scratch-off from the Florida Lottery is your ticket to take on the world.
If you get knocked down, stand up again. Rip it up again. Give me one chance, give me one chance. I'm gonna make it. Give me my chance, this is my chance. I'm gonna take it.
The new $10 million world-class cash scratch-off from the Florida Lottery. One of our life-changing scratch-offs offering billions in cash prizes.
Let me introduce you to the ultimate Florida window. Do you feel safer with this or this? You'll be proud too.
Going on now. For every 2 windows you buy, get 1 more free. Call today.
If you've ever had a bad night's sleep, call and price the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has so much more than other adjustables and still costs up to 50% less. Featuring a rising adjustable pillow rest to support your head, neck, and shoulders, bedside power plugs, under bed night lights, and more. So call and price one today for less. Up to 50% less than Tempur-Pedic, Sleep Number, and other adjustables.
You get so much more and it still costs less. You've got to see how little they cost.
Call 1-800-774-8103. That's 1-800-774-8103. Call now.
There's never been a better time to call California Closets. Now during our Finish Upgrade event, save up to 20% when you upgrade to an Italian-inspired wood grain finish. Contact us for your free design consultation today. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
A follow-up now on a huge fundraiser here on the Suncoast. The 12th annual Dick Vitale Gala raised a record-breaking $3.1 million for pediatric cancer research. Hundreds of people attended the sold-out event at the Ritz-Carlton Sarasota in mid-May. One of this year's honorees, ESPN sportscaster Chris Berman, made a personal donation of $130,000 to the V Foundation. In total, the gala has now raised more than $21 million to help defeat the leading cause of death by disease in American children.
Google is launching a new education campaign to try and teach kids how to protect themselves online. The program is called Be Internet Aware. Google is partnering with several online safety groups to teach kids what they need to know to stay safe on the internet. The initiative is aimed at kids between the ages of 8 and 12 years old because many kids around that age get their own smartphones with internet access. One parent we spoke with on the Suncoast says keeping your kids safe is first a parent's responsibility, but he supports the corporate giant's efforts.
Opened our eyes a little bit. We educate our children what needs to do, and the same thing for Google. It's very good that they allow the access to parents to use, and I think people need to take advantage of that, full advantage of it.
To make the experience more fun, Google developed a game called Interland to teach kids the ins and outs of online safety. The company is also urging teachers to use these elements in the classroom curriculum. And now we'll head over to Bob with a check on our rainy day.
Well, right now, KCK webcam showing showers still out there in the Gulf of Mexico, working their way onshore. No rough weather right now. Boy, it was, though, about an hour and a half ago to 2 hours. Had wind gusts up to 50 to 60 miles an hour in parts of South Sarasota and western Charlotte County, with that line of intense storms making its way through. And an intense line of storms moved through South Florida earlier, dumping over 10 inches of rainfall, estimates from the Doppler radar site near the Alligator Alley. Right now, heavy rain to moderate rain in the eastern portions of Manatee into central Sarasota counties, the strongest cells by far, producing the lightning now out of our viewing area. And not a lot to the west of us currently, and we'll look for some light to moderate precipitation through this evening. Most of that, though, not heavy, and will break up over the next couple of hours. So we'll see a little lull, and then showers and storms will redevelop after midnight. The heaviest activity coming in tomorrow, and it can happen at any time, really. Today it's set up really down to our south this morning. That's the bullseye you see there, with nearly 10 inches of rainfall over the past 24 hours. For us, lesser amounts, but still some pretty hefty ones. 2.8 inches in eastern portions of Sarasota County. And severe storms, they're possible. Marginal chance of some isolated severe weather through Wednesday afternoon. So this, again, coming from the Storm Prediction Center. On top of that, there is a small risk at 2% for an isolated tornado to occur with these cells as they move on shore. And damaging winds a little higher at 5%, not all that high, but still it's there. And that's just a result of the energy kind of pinwheeling around this area of low pressure. Had it not been for this low, we could have seen a tropical depression or even tropical storm with this area right here. But since this is creating so much shear in the atmosphere, we're starting to still see that southwesterly flow. On top of that, little pieces of energy. This is one right there into the central Gulf of Mexico that will be working its way in our general direction, and then another one behind it as this whole area heads off to the east. So it will also send a frontal boundary our way. That front will become another player for our weekend weather, with showers and storms developing along it. Now, there are some patches of some dry air behind the system that'll be moving in late Thursday and Friday. So Friday appears to be the best day for some sunshine anyway. 76 degrees right now. Dew point is at 73. Winds out of the south-southeast at 6. And the rain high today was 85. The rain today was pretty impressive for the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport, over an inch. We had over an inch yesterday, an inch today. Our rainfall for the month now, 3.76 inches. And look at our yearly rainfall. It's only 2.5 inches below average now because of the recent rains in May and now here in early June. And it's not going to let up on Wednesday. Look for scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day as a result of this moisture continuing to move in from the southwest, and a disturbance along with a frontal boundary settling down across our region on through the next couple of days. Now, we'll have much more on this coming up at 6 o'clock, but for the time being, boating weather, not the best. A small craft advisory is in effect and will stay with us through Wednesday. Choppy conditions out there, seas running 3 to 5 feet. The extended forecast looks like this: 80% tomorrow, 50-50 on Thursday, less chance on Friday, still there, and then better chances for the weekend at 60%. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. Now to Suncoast Traffic Watch. There is an accident on I-75 in the southbound lanes just north of Bee Ridge. You may want to avoid that area.
Your iPhone will soon get an update that could help save lives. Apple will soon introduce a new feature called Do Not Disturb while driving. When the iPhone is connected to a car by a cable or Bluetooth, or if the car is moving, the phone will withhold any notifications for text and other updates. If someone texts you while you're driving, the phone will send that person a message saying you're driving and can't respond. And the iPhone screen will be locked to prevent drivers from using any apps. Passengers who are not driving can disable the feature, which will be part of Apple's iOS 11 operating software. Amazon is offering a big discount on its Prime membership for people who receive government benefits. Those who receive food stamps, unemployment, or other government assistance programs only have to pay $5.99 a month for the service. The typical payment is $10.99 a month. Prime members get free shipping on goods and unlimited streaming of movies and TV shows, as well as many other perks. Amazon says that it wants to make the program more accessible.
And they know what they're doing business-wise, so obviously they think this is a smart idea.
And free shipping is a nice thing to hear when you're ordering online.
That will entice you to place that order. Entertainment news is next.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I'm creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Day 2 of Bill Cosby's sexual assault trial is happening in Pennsylvania.
The 79-year-old is accused of drugging and sexually assaulting former Temple University employee Andrea Constant at his home in 2004. Constant testifying today that she met the comedian while working for the women's basketball team at Temple. She says they were friends for about 16 months before he sexually assaulted her. Cosby faces 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. He has denied the allegations and says he will not testify.
Actor John Stamos will host the annual July 4th concert outside the U.S. Capitol. Organizers say Stamos will perform with the Beach Boys during the show. Other performers include Motown legends The Four Tops, plus Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi of the Blues Brothers, country star Trace Atkins, and many others. The free concert on the west lawn of the Capitol precedes the July 4th fireworks over the National Mall.
Chuck Berry did things his own way right up to his final album. Berry announced plans for the album Chuck in October on his 90th birthday. The music took on added poignancy when he died in March. It's a fitting finale from the man who melded blues, R&B, and country music into a sound that changed the cultural landscape. The album will be released this Friday.
A musical based on Jimmy Buffett's music will make the move to Broadway early next year. Forbes reports that Escape to Margaritaville will start performances at New York's Marquis Theater in February. The musical is about a bar musician who falls for a tourist. Escape to Margaritaville currently will play in San Diego, New Orleans, Houston, and Chicago before opening in New York.
George and Amal Clooney are now parents of twins. The Clooneys welcomed a girl and a boy, Ella and Alexander, this morning. In a joint statement, the couple said both mother and children are happy and healthy and doing fine. The babies were born at a hospital in London where the Clooneys own a historic mansion. These are the first children for both.
Very exciting.
And twins, boy and a girl. I mean, that's kind of perfect, isn't it? For them?
You're done.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to be done, you have a boy and a girl,
yeah.
right? So, and I'm sure they're beautiful children. Will also be very smart and talented,
Yeah.
and all genetically blessed.
Oh yeah, that's right. We wish them well.
Yes.
And we'll be right back.